Hello and welcome, city officials of Tampa, Florida. Today's presentation consists of environmental influences on offender trends and patterns. My name is Manny Rivera. Let's get started. My objectives are discuss how family, education, social media, and weather influence offender trends and patterns. To better suit you through the presentation, let's discuss social learning theory. It could be defined that people learn from one another via observation, imitation, and modeling. Recent studies have shown that in today's society, families are growing more without a father figure. 10% of children living in single parent homes typically lead to a 17% increase in juvenile crimes. Without a father figure in the household of young men, they tend to search for a father figure and majority of the time find the wrong one. These young men find the so-called cool guy to follow in their footsteps, which leads them into crime and violent offenses. Also, without father figures in households for young men, discipline becomes much harder for single parents to have in their family. Fatherless families with mothers unable or unwilling to provide necessary affection, inadequate child supervision, and mistreatment of children are all common characteristics of broken families that also contribute to a criminal activity. Neighborhoods with high degrees of religion are not high crime neighborhoods. Even in high crime neighborhoods, well over 90% of children from safe homes do not become delinquent. By contrast, 10% of children from unstable homes in these neighborhoods avoid crime. Children whose mothers are distant emotionally and or physically tend to have behavior problems and or are more likely to commit crimes. Strong parental bonds will significantly decrease the chance that a child will commit an act of crime. Educational influences consist of education dropouts, unemployment, and the question, does education truly decrease crime? Recent studies have shown that more educational people that are in a community result in less likelihood of crime being committed. Education grows more jobs, more resources to gain money, and decreases the motive to steal or commit burglary and grand theft. Unfortunately, in the state of Florida, unemployment has had its great and hardest recession in the years of 2008 to 2009. Prior to the recession, the average crime index in 2007 was at a 4.2%. Now, to better serve you, the city officials of Tampa, Florida, let's move on to the next slide to better suit the crime index of unemployment, dropout rates, and crime. As you can see through the years of 2003 2014, as the crime index rate drops, so does the high school dropout rate. For instance, 2003 has a crime index of 3,823 and resulting in a high school dropout of 3.1. In 2014, the crime index drops to 2,638, resulting in the high school dropout rate of 1.7. Social media plays a huge part of our influence on offender trends and patterns. In today's society, celebrities promote drug use, gun crimes, mistreatment of women, rape, and even murder. As celebrities promote such lifestyles, they are conveying a message to our young men and women that it is okay to commit crimes that involve drugs, murder, shooting one another, and that mistreatment of people is cool. Which results in our offenders consume the idea that I, the offender, should commit and act on these crimes and it will make me rich and famous. How do you think the potential offenders are seeing these acts? On Facebook, of course. These social media websites allow the public to upload videos on what they record on their mobile device. As you can see, a familiar face to your right, and for those that don't, his name is Steve Stevens. This man shot a man up close and personal and murdered him in broad daylight. Through the midst of all this, he even recorded it and then posted it on Facebook, allowing young men and women to see this heinous crime. Now, what does that do to potential offenders or offenders? It gives them the how and feeling it would take to act on such crime. Another way social media influences offender trends and patterns is the news. The news gives way more than enough details on violent crimes and situations. For instance, in the Columbine High School shooting, the news gave every detail there was about it. They gave the entry point of the shooters, gave the time frame of the high school shooting, allowing potential offenders to realize how long it would take for police or authority to show up. The news even gave time and how the shooters ended the shooting, which was turning their guns on themselves. Now, for potential offenders, it gives them the feeling on how it would feel to carry such act. Also giving them the feeling, does it feel good or bad if I did carry out such a violent act? Our last slide is weather influences. Crime versus temperature. Does hot, cold, summer months, winter months really affect the crime? Does it increase or does it decrease? Let's take a look. This graph explains from 2001 to the present year of an average of every temperature that it's hit throughout the years. As you can see, from the winter months of 10 degrees to 40 degrees, a steady incline from 850 to 1,000. For the summer months and hot days, from the average of 50 to 100, spike from 1,050 to 1,250 crimes on average per year. My conclusion brings environmental influences affect offender trends and patterns every day and in many ways. Grabbing a better understanding of each environmental influence can benefit us in understanding on how and when offenders offend. Thank you for your time, city officials. I hope this presentation suits you